Hi there, this is an overview of the updated fuzzy match add-in for Excel. So you can open up the add-in by clicking on the button in the home ribbon. And we access we'll just try the fuzzy match function first, which is similar to the X match function in Excel. So we're going to take an array of leads in this case that we're trying to match to the master data in the CRM. So these are the ones we're looking up, and these are the values that we're looking into. We're not going to set the threshold or the algorithm, we'll just leave that. And so you can see the index of the row that's been matched. So Microsoft matches to Microsoft. This is an Excel data type, so you also get the option to add additional properties, which, for example, could be the matching name. And then if we want, we could copy that down the column. Note it'll give this field error because there was no match for the ones that are left blank. So we can also, just to illustrate, you could change the threshold to say 0 so that it includes a match to everything. And now it tries to match to anything without regard to the threshold. So it'll give you the closest matching value. Or we could try a different threshold, and now you can see it's not matching this one. And there's also other properties here like the score that you could access if you wanted. So this gives you what the match score was for this particular match. So you can get a sense of, for the ones that are scoring really high, you don't need to bother to look at them. For the ones that are scoring really low, that indicates that there's likely a problem with the matching. So the other option you can do here is have like a different algorithm. So we can do the same process again, and we're going to look up here, and this is the lookup array over here. But now we're not going to change the threshold, but we're going to change the algorithm to Jero. And you can look in the documentation to get a sense of how each of these algorithms are, what their strengths and weaknesses are. But a key thing you can see here is, we'll just calculate the score. You can see that the score is quite different from the two algorithms. So while this one scored really low, this one actually scored quite high, but matched on the exact same value. So depending on the type of data you've got, the different algorithms might suit you a lot better. So, for example, on a normal cutoff of 0.6, this would have not matched, whereas this would have matched even at a cutoff of 0.8 or greater. And so for the fuzzy lookup function, it's essentially the same thing as fuzzy match, except the difference is that it can return other values. So we're going to look up again the same array into the same values. But the difference is now we want to return the city. And so what it does, instead of returning the index of the row, it returns the value of the city column for that row. So it just saves you from the having, if you use the index, you'd have to use like the index function to find which to return the city. This just simplifies that. So it's essentially doing the same thing, and everything else applies the same way. You can change the threshold or the algorithm, etc. Anyways, that's a quick overview. I encourage you to go to the documentation to get more detail on the algorithms and how they can be used. And good luck with your fuzzy matching.